March 25th, 2010, Daytona Beach, Florida. That's the day my firstborn and my namesake was actually born. Alexander M. Martinez III. Around the house we know him as Xander. To all you single guys out there that want to be fathers one day, I learned firsthand that you can do all the prep work you want, but in the end your brain's going to turn to mush and there's nothing you can do to prepare for parenthood. When you see your child born and take his first breath, it's a pretty awe-inspiring moment. At 35 years old, the reality had set in that I was going to be a father for the first time, and I had no idea what it had in store for me. Life-changing experience can be a scary one. I'm pretty sure seeing your child born for the first time falls under that. Since I didn't know what to expect, I pretty much spent the next 9 months trying to prepare for that moment. Here's the part where I screwed up. I was so excited that my first child was a man child. I had that whole like Spartan 300 moment, like, raw, man child, ooh, ooh, kind of a man grunt kind of thing, Go ahead and laugh, this is my story. Living in Florida at the time when my wife was pregnant, line of work I was in, I was repoing cars, so it kind of allowed me to make my own schedule. So because of that, I was able to work around all the OB/GYN appointments, so I didn't miss any appointments. I got to see all the ultrasounds. It was pretty awesome. It was like that pretty much for the whole 9 months. Probably the beginning of March is when Amanda's blood pressure was kind of elevated. It wasn't nothing dangerous, but it was enough for the doctor to want her to come in every week. I believe that's standard practice towards the end of the pregnancy, ladies who've given birth. Like they usually want like a bi-weekly or a weekly visit. So that kind of fell into place. So we stayed up with that, and once again, her blood pressure was slightly elevated, but it wasn't nothing to cause any concern. March 24th, the day before he was born, it was supposed to be a routine visit. We had the date planned out. We were going to get up, we were going to go to a doctor's appointment, we were going to go to IHOP for breakfast. I still remember what I wanted from IHOP that day. I didn't get it, obviously. Like I said, we were going to go to the visit, we were going to go have breakfast, we were going to go kidnap my stepson from school early and go to the beach because we live in Daytona. Anybody who's been to Florida knows what Daytona Beach is like. We get to the doctor's office, get in, go through the motions, checks her weight, all that good stuff. Doctor takes her blood pressure, notices it's still kind of high, so he's like, well, lay down, see if you can relax a little bit, see if we can get your blood pressure to come down. Half hour goes by, nothing, still the same. So he makes a call down to Daytona Beach Memorial, gets on the phone, he's seeking some guidance. He's on the phone for about 5-10 minutes, gets off the phone, he looks at us, and he's like, all right, he's like, go down to Daytona Beach Memorial, we're having a baby today. So of course, naturally, all that planning that I had tried to get ready for went out the window. Didn't happen. So by this time, I'm like going through all the checklists that I had made in my head. We get down to the hospital, we get checked in, had to call my mother-in-law, who was actually flying in that night from Philly, so she could be there for when her first grandson was born, or second grandson actually was born. I actually had to arrange for a friend to go pick her up because I had to go back to the house and get Amanda's go bag. Anybody know what a go bag is? Everybody knows what a go bag is, right? Anybody that doesn't? Alright. So I had to go get her go bag. I had to go pick David up from school, not realizing, totally forgot what was going on. He thinks we're still going to the beach. So I'm like, the beach is a no-go, buddy. I'm like, your little brother's inbound and he's not waiting. So he figures out what that meant and he's like, oh, great. So I got a 7-year-old who's just all over the place. So around 2 o'clock, the doctor comes in and actually has to break a man's water. So I see that, and naturally I'm a little mortified. I turn about 3 shades of white, and you see how brown I am. So breaks her water, and he gets her settled in. They get the Pitocin started, they get the IVs hooked up. And, I'm thinking, okay, this kid's coming, be here, we'll probably go have dinner somewhere. Didn't happen. 5 o'clock, nothing, no contractions, no nothing. By about 6 o'clock, my mother-in-law gets in from the airport. And we're sitting there, we're all just kind of talking. No contractions, nothing. So finally, I'd say about 11 o'clock, we figured nothing was going to happen. So my mother-in-law and my stepson, they decided to pull out the couch and go to sleep. So they're getting all settled in, and me and Amanda are just kind of sitting up talking, kind of shooting the breeze. And she gives me this look, just like one of those looks. So she looks at me and she says, I think I got to push. So here I go. I run out the door. I swear to God, I didn't think my feet hit the floor the whole way out. So I see this little nurse walking by. Grab her by the arm. By the way, she did get the regain the use of that arm. So I look at her and I'm like, "Are you a nurse?" As I'm looking at her name tag, it says, "Delivery nurse." Anybody know who Bill Engvall is? Here's your sign. That's what happened. So I look at her, I'm like, "Are you a nurse?" And she's like, "Yeah." So that's all I could get out. So I'm doing like all these hand motions like, "Come here." You know. So she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Her," and then a baby kind of thing, you know, because I'm paranoid. So also about that time, they called the doctor, and the doctor, he had to have graduated from like the Jedi Mind School of Childbirth because he just happened to be on his way to the hospital when I grabbed that nurse. So he like, something went off in his head. So around 12:10, the doctor gets in, and he's putting his gown on, he's putting his gloves on, and on everything I love, I swear to God, he did this. He put the gloves on, and he turned this way. My son looked like a high-speed projectile shooting out of a cannon because the doctor was like this, and I swear to God, my kid just, boom, hit him right in the stomach. It didn't really happen like that, but of course, that was my first time being a dad, and you kind of see things that way. So we're sitting there, and you know, he's got my kid. Of course, I start tearing up. I see this long cord. I'm like, okay, that's supposed to be the umbilical cord. So I'm sitting there, but he hasn't cried yet. So I'm getting a little paranoid. I'm like, wait for it, and I hear him cry. So the first time I heard him cry, I said, "Holy expletive, I'm a dad now." So in conclusion, at 12:14 a.m. on March 25th, 2010, my son, Alexander Miller Martinez III, was born in Daytona Beach. He weighed in at a whopping 7 pounds, 8 ounces. I wanted to use my Marine Corps issued K-bar knife to cut the umbilical cord, but Amanda shot that one down before it got off the ground. Thank you.